It is time for our peer pressure segment, and my guest is Josh Graham. Josh, are you there?
Yep.
He is here. Yes. Excellent. Well, that's good. I've had a lot of little technical issues today, and at least getting you on the line is not one of them. Welcome.
Oh, thanks.
And
thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for being here. To get the listeners up to speed, can you just talk about what you've got going on and what's happening for you?
Like in general or history or?
In general and history, however you want to introduce yourself. Let's put it that way.
Okay. In general, I play in a band called Storm of Light. We're writing our fourth record, and I am the artist and visuals guy for Neurosis. We're preparing right now for their new record. It comes out on Halloween. Yeah, I'm just working on more design stuff, working with Soundgarden. Yeah, I think.
What are you doing for Soundgarden?
I'm doing their print design for their new full length that's coming out. I've been working with them for a little bit for the last year and a half, I guess.
How did that happen?
Actually, Kim came out and saw Storm of Light and Shrine Builder play in Seattle, and he got both albums from that release or from that show, and I did the art for both of them. So I think he just was into that stuff. So they had a compilation that was coming out, so they asked me to do the art for that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's very cool. They're awesome to work with.
And if anybody hasn't seen Josh's art, I did earlier in the last set, I played something off of the Primitive North split by A Storm of Light. And I did put a small reproduction of the artwork up there. I mean, you are so jaw-droppingly talented. Your work is just beautiful. What is it like when, like you said, you're preparing for Neurosis's new record? Do they write with certain visuals in mind? How does that work out?
No, I think with Neurosis, it's pretty like separated between their writing process and the visuals. I definitely get inspiration for the artwork from their music and lyrics and that kind of stuff. For this record, we wanted to go all in-camera photography instead of the more composited stuff. So that took a while. That took a lot of, probably the most band discussion that we've had in as far as how the artwork goes and how to execute it and take it from there.
This is a slightly different approach on this record?
Yeah. I think it's all in-camera, but it's very related to my art. Kind of looks like a real-world interpretation of the stuff that I do.
You've grown with them for years. Haven't you been with them for like over a decade?
Yeah, I think this is 8 or 11. It's 11 or 12 years, yeah. Has
your emergence as an artist on your own shifted or changed the relationship with Neurosis? Not a time thing, but because you're being more recognized for your own art. Like, do they know your art better, or is it just left up to you altogether, or do they have more requests because they're more familiar with your style?
I think for the majority of Neurosis, they always kind of want to push their personal envelope. So I think the fact that kind of Given to the Rising artwork was one of the first records I did that was basically photo collage stuff. So I think being on so long since that record came out, they really wanted to see where we could take it together someplace different. So that's where the photography started coming in. My art has definitely grown with them and also outside of them, and I think everything is working together as a whole in that way, though. There's many different influences, I think.
It's interesting to watch that and then to see. I didn't realize that you were the same person, and I'm not sure what the first, quote, sort of solo artwork that I saw of yours was. I was like, oh, my God. Because for a while, I think I only knew you as being the visual component of Neurosis. And not to say that you weren't capable, but I just didn't know what else it was that you did. It seems like your visual work has really been very well received in the last couple of years. Is that right?
Yeah, it feels like it. I've been able to start doing a lot more art shows in the U.S., just kind of all around. I had a solo show in San Francisco last year, and I definitely feel lucky to kind of have that happening and done some shows with some other great artists that are all kind of based around the heavy music scene.
Congratulations on being able to do that, because it is difficult. And you are in A Storm of Light, And you've been in, other bands, and we just played the Crooked Sun track also. Is that just you, Crooked Sun?
Yeah, so far, for me, the Crooked Sun was I have a lot of different influences, I think, musically, and some of the past Storm of Light records. Felt like I was trying to meet this medium of melodic and heavy, but I felt like they were kind of clashing a bit, and I wanted a different outlet, so I think both now are very much more focused. So for right now, Crooked Sun is just me, but I think we'll definitely want to have some friends kind of contribute when I actually start recording more stuff for it. The overall idea is that I can play a live shows just by myself, I think. Oh, well, on the record, but in general, I want to be able to play all the Crooked Sun stuff as a solo person, just live.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, but then I don't know. We'll see. I kind of like to leave it open, but I just want to be able to make sure that everything that is recorded can be represented by just me live.
Oh, got it. Cool. In terms of growing up, what came first, the music or the art for you?
It's kind of funny. I started playing in bands when I was 16, and I'd taken art in junior high, and kind of was bouncing back and forth between the art and music. But once I actually had the band that started playing shows, then I started making all the flyers, and they were very elaborate cutouts and photocopies and that kind of stuff. So I think it's always sort of been hand in hand. And even real early on when I was playing music, we had a band where we would do visuals, but we'd have to get televisions. We got a lot of friends to bring their personal TVs to one show, and we rented a big screen TV from Rent-A-Center for one show. So it
nice.
kind of always sort of happened.
Good old Rent-A-Center.
Yeah, that was by far the most ridiculous one. But.
Well, let's hear it for ridiculous, though. That's always when you break some kind of barrier, when you do something that you really have no idea how it's going to turn out, and it sounds completely ridiculous.
Yeah.
Whether it's good or not. Are you educated in art or music?
No, I'm actually an art school dropout.
Oh, good. That's the best.
Yeah, I'm self-taught music, although I am starting to learn how to read and want to take stuff a little bit further if I can.
That is the plateau there.
Yeah.
I have your website up here, the Suspended in Light site, and I know that this show is about music and about your musical taste and stuff, but I really your artwork is just so amazing. I just want to make sure that the listeners get a chance to check on it during the show. Is some of the stuff on Suspended in Light available for sale?
Yeah, most of the stuff in the artwork section is. Actually, I guess all of it is, and then I'm working on some new stuff. But yeah.
When you're doing artwork for album covers, how large do you work?
It varies per record. I started working really large, a native format for a CD would be about 15 inches by 15 inches at 300 dpi. So if it's a 5 or 6 panel piece of art, then it would be 5 or 6 feet long, just in its sort of native format. So then I actually take some of the stuff and blow it up a little bit bigger to make these prints.
Yeah, they're amazing.
Oh, thanks.
Is this all computer, or do you go back in? Is there anything that you do by hand with the majority of the way you've been working lately?
There's a lot of, that stuff also really depends on the project. Some of the stuff is the scope of the scenes are obviously too insane. I'm not going to Antarctica and photographing ice, but there's some of the ones that are in asylums and stuff. I've done a lot of the photography for those, and for the Neurosis and the new Soundgarden, it's actually primarily all on camera. Soundgarden has a little bit of Photoshop stuff, but I've built both of those in my attic. It's kind of cool.
Wow.
Yeah, that's fun.
What's going on with the Storm of Light right now?
Just confirmed a European tour with Converge, Touche and more, and The Secret. So.
Oh, really?
Cool.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, when is that? Do you know around when that starts?
The first show is on November 22nd, and the last one is on December 22nd.
Oh, good. So European listeners, that's a great lineup.
Yeah, that's going to be really cool. Now, we have demos done for quite quite a bit of stuff, probably a little bit more than half the record, I suppose. And we're going to kind of demo some stuff out for ourselves, and we'll probably start. I'm thinking the record might come out like in a year or something like that, or next summer or something.
Oh, okay. So you're working on it. Yeah. Will you be playing songs, new songs, on the tour?
Yeah.
It seems as if the first two records are less song oriented than the last release, as The Valley of the Death Becomes Us. Is that something that was deliberate? And if so, where are you at in the process with this fourth record coming up?
The first two records, I think we really liked them, but the whole of like the concept idea and sequencing the songs so that they fit within a linear story, I kind of think it didn't help the overall thing for us. Songs would have been sequenced differently. I think probably would have been better to listen to, but that's not the way that they were written in the order. So for the Valley of Death, we wanted to really get outside of that and try to make the songs as tight and as compact as possible and just make it be a record. So I think for this one, it's sort of similar approach, but I think there will be, there's actually a lot, much faster material, and I guess probably much more nihilistic in general, but I think there's going to be some more noise-escape kind of stuff to come back in a little bit and sort of maybe offset song format record and kind of embellish with some other material. Cool. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. So that's a good thought going in, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, absolutely.
You work so many different projects and do so many things. How do you actually stay organized?
I think, I don't know.
It sounds like there's some torture there. Well, but really, because it's not like you do one thing. So how does that...
Generally, for me, it's really... I have to focus completely on stuff for periods of time. For writing, for me, I was just talking to a band about this the other day, but for me, I'm starting to write material. I'm either on or totally off because I can't be in the middle, because if I'm thinking about writing music, then that's all I want to be doing. So I have to basically just cut it off completely. And I kind of think that might help with some differentiation between records. But so for when I'm doing art, it's basically only art, or if I'm doing like more design for my freelance stuff, then it's design, or if it's music, it kind of has to be like that.
Whatever works. When you're creating art, do you really know when it's done, or do you finally go, I think it's done, I'm going to just have to leave this?
Yeah.
So what says to you that a piece is finished?
Yeah, I don't really know. I think there's always stuff to nitpick, and actually with some of these prints that I've been selling, I've printed stuff out that the sizes are 4 feet by 3 feet or something, and then I'll see something in there that I didn't catch at the smaller sizes, then I'll go back and fix it. So.
Oh, no. So then anything you get from Josh, it's like a new piece because you're still going back in and tweaking.
Yeah, I mean, for the most part. There was some stuff that we printed that I had no idea that there were some issues in it until I saw it that hard.
Well, it's all a process. With everything that you're involved in, everything seems to be a process. I really like what you're doing at Crooked Sun because it's very simple and basic, because A Storm of Light is really layered and thick, as is your artwork. So it's sort of no surprise that you're doing something like that, and it's great that you have that outlet.
Yeah, thanks. I'm really excited about the simplicity of that. I don't really have that with much of anything, so to be able to, musically, it's a kind of music I've always been infatuated with and wanted to kind of explore a little bit, but never really, I don't think I had the clarity to really get through it. But I think learning and growing with The Storm of Light has kind of helped that become more possible. So yeah, it's cool to be able to just have something that's very straightforward. We'll
be back talking to Josh in a little bit. Would you like to introduce what's the first thing on your playlist and why you chose it?
First one is Wake. It's the intro song from Voices of Omens. It's funny, when you first said 45 minutes, I thought that was so long, and then actually trying to pick out songs, I realized that if I did 8-minute songs, that's basically 5 or 6 songs all together, and I was trying to pick stuff that I think thought fit really well together, but also wasn't going to eat up the entire 45 minutes. So I really like that Wake record is awesome. And the song actually also sort of fit into the weird mix of metal and folk.
Yes, which we will see in a minute. And my guest DJ is Josh Graham. This track is called Intro, and thanks to Josh for putting this together. We will be back in a minute. We're WFMU.